solutions to Jamaicans' persistent road maintenance challenges. We all know potholes are a daily frustration, draining public resources and damaging vehicles across the island. QPR changes that story. It's the #1 asphalt repair product in the USA, now available in Jamaica. With ministerial endorsement, QPR aligns with government priorities for safer, more efficient infrastructure while supporting a proudly Jamaican-owned company leading innovation in the energy and construction sectors. So tune in to CliffViews Online, Wednesday, February 25 with George Davis, live from the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel for the official launch of QPR Pothole Filler. This broadcast is brought to you by Regency Petroleum Limited, fueling growth, building Jamaica.
Every day, Jamaicans have something to say. In the group chats, on social media, in the streets, there's a place where it all comes together. The comment section. This is not a lecture. This is not a call-in show. This is the hottest topics of the day, filtered through real opinions, real WhatsApp messages, real voice notes, real reactions. You agree, disagree, sound off, text it, voice note it, debate it. Comments section, Monday to Friday from 7 to 7:30 p.m. only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media.
It's hard-hitting. It's riveting. It's the much-talked-about cover story during Nationwide at 5. Here Cliff Hughes get to the heart of the story of the day. Cover Story aired 5:30 weekdays during Nationwide at 5. Nationwide at 5. Talk radio at its best. Cover Story.
Cover Story is brought to you by JTA Credit Union, serving our members, impacting lives positively.
Multilink, roll with control. Use Multilink, safe, fast, and accepted in more locations.
Do you have a consumer-related issue? Want to learn more about matters concerning you as a consumer? Well, keep it locked to Nationwide 90 FM for the Consumer Hour with me, Nora Gay Banton. Weekdays from 9 to 10 a.m. For all your consumer-centric matters, stay tuned to the Consumer Hour on Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media.
Ready to tackle that building project? Start right. Start here at H&L Rapid True Value for building supplies. The time by H&L Rapid True Value is
Nationwide time, 5 o'clock.
From the Nationwide News Network, comprehensive, incisive, tough. This is Nationwide at 5.
Good afternoon, I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Robianne Williams.
In Nationwide News at this hour, Jamaicans for Justice left fuming after the security minister accuses the organization of living off blood money.
The human rights lobby group says it's seeking legal advice after what it says are defamatory comments from the senior cabinet minister.
Killers of 3-year-old in Denham Town have until tomorrow to surrender to the police.
No Jamaicans reportedly harmed in flare-up of violence in Mexico.
Mark Golding says the tax on sugary drinks has nothing to do with improving public health.
Because whether the drink is very sweet or medium sweetness or not sweet at all, the tax is the same.
In news from the rest of the world, Canada prepares aid package for Cuba as it faces fuel shortages.
At least 73 people killed in attempt to capture leader of Mexican cartel.
In sports, Captain Shea Hope says West Indies played perfect game in demolition of Zimbabwe at World T20 Championship on Monday.
And later in our broadcast, in the cover story at 5:35, blood money. The National Security Minister, Dr. Horace Chang, has lambasted civil society groups, saying they're berating the police for financial gain.
When their families start being alluded to in public spaces, it becomes a problem. The people in Jamaica and justice and other years must stop this. They're living off blood money.
We'll get reactions from political commentators Jermaine Barrett and Kevin O'Brien Chan.
In the nation's business at 6:25, child rights lobby group Hear the Children's Cry is renewing their call for a $1 million bounty and stronger penalties for child killers. We'll hear from their director, Nigel Cooper.
Taking you around the world at 6:45, former British ambassador to the United States, Peter Mandelson, has been arrested by London police on suspicion of misconduct in public office. You'll hear more.
And at 7, it's the comment section with Shaloy Smichael and Mahiri Stewart. This evening, they're asking, what's your reaction to Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness accepting his full salary? Give us your comments by logging on to our Facebook page, Nationwide News Network, and by tweeting us at Nationwide Radio and message us on WhatsApp at 876-285-5693. You can also leave your comments on Instagram at Nationwide 90FM.
All these and more as we take you home on air on your mobile Nationwide 90FM, RevoNews.ai, and on the Revo News app. It's available on the Google Play and the App Store. This Monday afternoon, it's Monday, February 23, 2026.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
And now to the details. Human rights lobby group Jamaicans for Justice, JFJ, says it's seeking legal advice about the way forward following what it says are inflammatory comments made by National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang. In his first media interview since resuming official duties, Dr. Chang, who is also the country's deputy prime minister, accused the organization and other civil society groups of living off blood money by their constant criticisms of the nation's police force. But as we hear in this report from Shaloy Smichael, JFJ says the security minister's comments are untrue and defamatory.
Civil society groups have continued to raise concerns about the increase in police fatal shootings in recent times. They argue that the continued lack of body-worn cameras and conflicting reports from police and citizens is also of grave concern. Jamaicans for Justice has been one of the strongest critics. On Monday, it appeared the National Security Minister had enough. In an interview on Nationwide this morning, Dr. Chang argued that the constant broadsides against the police force by civil society groups is selfish and unfair. He name-dropped JFJ as being among those criticizing the police for financial gain. He accused them of living off blood money.
When the police apprehend the murderers, if they shoot, if one gets shot, the police are murderer. That kind of discussion must be discontinued. I have to raise it because it's a young Jamaican right, committed to justice and right, whose commitment to fair play is being questioned. And they will have the strength and the training to withstand it when their families start being alluded to in public spaces. It becomes a problem. The people in Jamaica for justice and other areas must stop this. They are living off blood money.
Unsurprisingly, JFJ did not take the comment lightly. The lobby group responded in a media release just hours later. It says Dr. Chang's framing of its work as living off blood money is unfortunate, untrue, and inflammatory. It says, in light of the defamatory nature of the phrase and its potential consequences, it's seeking legal advice on the matter and any possible actions that may be warranted. On the matter of the police, JFJ says its positions are grounded in verifiable data from official sources, including the Independent Commission of Investigations, INDECOM, the JCF itself, as well as information provided by complainants. The lobby group says it makes no assertions beyond what the authoritative sources and processes indicate. It further argues that police killings are not labeled as extrajudicial. Rather, JFJ says it highlights documented patterns, recurring complaints, and specific incidents that warrant greater scrutiny. The group further notes that it has been instrumental in supporting professional policing and improving police-citizen relations. It says Dr. Chang's comments unnecessarily pits the police against a civil society organization when both are dedicated to shared goals of safety and justice. The group, formed in 1999, also sought to set the record straight on how it receives funding. JFJ says this is through mechanisms similar to those supporting state institutions, primarily grants from international development agencies. In a striking remark, the group questions whether that logic means the government is therefore also profiting from blood money through its own operations and funding. JFJ says it will not be slandered or intimidated out of fulfilling its role as a civil society organization dedicated to upholding human rights and lawful policing. Shaloy Smichael for Nationwide News.
Meanwhile, the National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang says he's not concerned about possible cabinet changes as he retains the full confidence of the Prime Minister. He was speaking on Nationwide this morning on Monday.
I am Deputy Prime Minister. I don't do reshuffling, but I am not aware of any. I have no conflict with my Prime Minister and any sort of being, removed. I'm confident that the Prime Minister said I can enjoy the confidence of the Prime Minister and we'll complete the mission. We have targets to meet. We're going to completely invest into our police force to take them to a level where we can consider their success sustainable. Already I think we are near there because the quality of our officers, their professionalism is beyond question. The public is seeing the difference.
Dr. Chang's comments followed questions about his strong defense of the police on Monday against civil society organizations who criticized the JCF. Nationwide's George Davis asked whether the minister lashed out against the civil society groups due to his possible pending retirement from politics. But Dr. Chang says he's simply annoyed.
I'm not setting the date for my for retiring, and my Prime Minister continues to have confidence in me. And as long as he does so, I will serve. Naturally, politics have a cycle. Every 5 years, we face a confirmation, despite of all this thing about recall and so forth. I recall every 5 years. I have the confidence if I go, my conscience will support me. But that's how I'm doing it. It's just that I said I'm somewhat annoyed, angry, because I live in a constituency where the brutality of crime was palpable.
Yeah.
Dr. Horace Chang, a National Security Minister.
Now, the police say the two men wanted in connection with last Saturday's murder of 3-year-old Jace Pinnock in Denham Town, West Kingston, have until Tuesday evening to turn themselves in. Assistant Commissioner of Police ACP Michael Phipps is the commanding officer for the Area 4 Police.
We have intensified our investigations regarding the murder of 3-year-old Jace Pinnock. Despite our efforts, we have not been able to locate the persons who were listed as persons of interest in this matter. At this time, we are again appealing to the Coney Mahoney, otherwise called Romy, Joseph Kenneth Smith, otherwise called Beanie Bud, and a man known only as Juby, to surrender to us no later than 6 p.m. tomorrow.
Both men are allegedly members of the Street Corner gang. Preliminary information is suggesting the attack is linked to gang activity as warring factions battle for control of turf. Jace's father and brother were also injured in the Saturday morning attack. They remain in hospital. ACP Phipps is encouraging residents to pass on any information that can help with the investigation.
In the same breath, I would like to use this opportunity to alert the public that we are still seeking information on these individuals, and we are encouraging anyone with details to come forward to assist in these efforts.
ACP Michael Phipps, commanding officer for the Area 4 Police.
Meanwhile, Member of Parliament for West Kingston Desmond McKenzie says the shooting incident which claimed the life of 3-year-old Jace Pinnock in Denham Town on Saturday was a deliberate attack on the family. McKenzie was speaking on Cliff Hughes Online earlier on Monday.
Jace's father took him up because his other 2 sons were in the room. And those animals, if he really came to shoot the father, and he has his son in his arm, the common thing you could do, you could either pull the child out from him and shoot him. But they proceeded to shoot him with his son in his arm and then shoot the other son that was there. Grandfather was able to escape and the other one was grazed by the bullet.
So it was a calculated attack on the family?
Yeah, they went there deliberately.
McKenzie says preliminary information suggests that this may have been an act of retaliation.
The zone has been enjoying a level of peace and significant reduction in crime for almost a year without an incident happening within the zone. And in December, some incident took place, which I believe is a spin-off from what we're seeing here that took place over the weekend.
So this is a retaliatory attack?
I am not going to say it 100%, but based on what I'm picking up on the ground,
yes,
it would appear that is the case.
Wow.
The case, Cliff.
Desmond McKenzie, Member of Parliament for West Kingston.
The Foreign Affairs Minister, Kamina Johnson-Smith, says no Jamaicans have been harmed during an eruption of violence in Mexico. This is based on reports received from the Central American country. In a social media post on Monday, Minister Johnson Smith says the embassy staff located in Mexico City have been unaffected. Likewise, she says there's been no reports of Jamaicans harmed. The Foreign Affairs Minister says normalcy has largely returned to affected areas in the country. The outbreak of violence was linked to the death of the leader of one of the country's most dangerous cartels, El Mencho. Members of the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, CJNG, which is one of the most powerful and feared criminal organizations in Mexico, have unleashed a wave of violence across 20 Mexican states. They torched businesses and erected burning blockades in retaliation to the killing. El Mencho, Mexico's most wanted man, was seriously injured in a firefight between his bodyguards and the military commandos deployed to capture him. He died while the military was transporting him from the town of Tapalpa in Jalisco State to the capital of Mexico City.
Head of the Constabulary Communication Network, CCN, Senior Superintendent Delia Garrick, is seeking to assure the public that the JCF has effective mechanisms in place to hold members accountable if they break the law. Her assurance comes amid recent news that police personnel have been implicated in serious crimes.
We have a robust accountability and service standards framework, and all members of the JCF are expected to conform to the rule of law. It is very important for our JCF members to stand true to our oath of office. We are here to serve and protect with the highest professionalism and the highest service excellence.
Last month, the 51-year-old Martin Walker, a detective inspector of the former Counter-Terrorism and Organized Crime Investigations Branch CTOC, was charged after investigators seized just over 5.8 kilograms of cocaine in Kingston. Recently, a policeman was among two people arrested along Port Henderson Road in Portmore St. Catherine following the seizure of 2 guns and several rounds of ammunition. Meanwhile, news emerged that the same policeman has been charged for the murder of St. Mary businessman Garfield Singh. The businessman was gunned down at his home in Boscobel. SSP Garrick told Nationwide News that cases of misconduct will be dealt with transparently so that public trust in the police is not eroded.
Any deviation from our standards will be addressed swiftly and decisively, and the JCF is committed to accountability and transparency, ensuring that the public trust is maintained at all times.
That's Senior Superintendent Delia Garrick, head of CCN.
You're listening to the news on Nationwide at 5. We'll have more after these.
Ran out of contact lenses? Buy a 6-month supply of contact lenses this month at IQ Optical and save 50% off the next 6-month supply. Conditions apply. The time by IQ Optical is...
It's 15 minutes after 5.
Termites, rodents, or birds infesting your home or office? Call Rentokil Initial, the pest expert, at 876-926-4236 for a free pest assessment island-wide. The temperature brought to you by Rentokil Initial is
28 degrees Celsius in Kingston and Montego Bay.
Continuing the news. Government Senator Dr. Elon Thompson says the tax on sugary drinks will significantly improve public health, especially in the area of sexual and reproductive wellness. While much of the debate is centered on consumer costs and economic impact, the prominent medical doctor says the issue must also be examined through a medical lens.
I want us to pause the politics and the noise and focus on something deeper: our health, our families, and our future. In Jamaica, we are battling a silent pandemic: obesity, diabetes, hypertension. These are not abstract statistics. They affect our mothers and fathers, our sons and daughters, our workforce, our productivity, and yes, indeed, our sexual and reproductive health. As a consultant urologist, I see firsthand what high blood sugar and uncontrolled blood pressure does to the human body. Sexual health depends on healthy blood vessels, balanced hormones, and intact nerves. When diabetes damages those blood vessels and nerves, sexual function suffers.
According to Dr. Thompson, sexual health is closely tied to vascular, hormonal, and neurological function. He says diabetes in particular damages blood vessels and nerves throughout the body, including those essential for sexual arousal, performance, and satisfaction. In many cases, he adds, sexual dysfunction can serve as an early warning sign of underlying cardiovascular disease. Dr. Thompson stresses that the proposed sugary drinks tax should not be viewed simply as a revenue-generating measure, but as a preventative public health strategy.
This is why the proposed sugary drink tax must be understood for what it truly is, a preventive public health measure. It is not simply about revenue. It is about sending a clear signal that we must take responsibility for reducing excessive sugar intake. We can't afford to medicate our way out of this crisis. Pills may treat symptoms of sexual dysfunction, but the lifestyle changes that we make will address the root cause.
That's Dr. Elan Thompson, government senator.
Meanwhile, opposition leader Mark Golding is suggesting the government's tax on sugary drinks has nothing to do with improving public health. This is despite claims from the administration. Golding says the design of the tax fails to incentivize manufacturers to reduce sugar content.
It is a tax on the volume of the container where the sweetened beverages are. It has nothing to do with how much sugar is in the drink. So there's nothing in the tax to incentivize a manufacturer who makes a drink, to incentivize them to reduce the quantum of sugar in the drink. Because whether the drink is very sweet or medium sweetness or not sweet at all, the tax is the same. So if you were structuring a measure with a design to reduce the amount of sugar consumed by the population, you would make it so that the tax is more if the sugar content is higher.
The special consumption tax on sugary drinks is one of several measures being implemented by the government to address the financial fallout from Hurricane Melissa. It's expected to generate $10.1 billion for the Treasury. The government says the move also aims to curb the consumption of sugar in the society. But Golding is urging Jamaicans not to be fooled.
The reality is that this measure is nothing to do with public health. If the tax was designed to reduce consumption of sweetened drinks, then they wouldn't be able to collect the tax revenue that they're projecting that they will collect. So the very fact that they intend to collect $10.1 billion indicates that they well know that consumption patterns are unlikely to be affected by this. So again, don't be fooled by what is being said about this. The reality is it's a tax to fund the budget, and it's going to be borne primarily by lower-income groups.
Opposition leader Mark Golding.
Detectives from the Specialized Investigations Branch, SIB, have charged a man in connection with a card-switching scheme targeting elderly citizens. The police say elderly persons across Kingston and St. Catherine have been targeted. The man charged is 34-year-old Sean Williams. According to the police, Williams showed up to automated telemachines ATMs looking for elderly individuals who appeared to be experiencing technical difficulties. He would then pretend to be offering assistance when in fact he was switching the victim's bank card for a dummy card and would steal funds from their ATM cards until they were depleted. Reports are that at least one victim was robbed of more than $300,000. Williams was arrested on Thursday, February 19 during a joint operation. Head of the SIB, SSP Christopher Brown, lauded the police effort in apprehending Williams. He says the kind of exploitation uncovered is unacceptable. The SSP also highlighted that the use of advanced techniques and partnerships made the arrest possible. The police are urging citizens, especially the elderly, to be vigilant when transacting business or using ATMs.
World in a Minute is brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose assembly and supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology and integrity.
The World in a Minute.
Canada announced on Monday that it's working on an aid package for Cuba as the country faces blackouts and severe fuel shortages worsened by a U.S. oil embargo. But Canada's foreign minister declined to give further details on the aid. Canada would join Mexico in providing aid to the Caribbean island. Earlier this month, the two Mexican Navy ships with humanitarian aid docked in Cuba 2 weeks after President Donald Trump threatened to impose tariffs on countries that sell oil to the island. Cuba is facing an increasing energy crisis that has heightened in recent weeks after oil shipments from Venezuela were halted in early January. Mexico, another major supplier, also suspended oil shipments to Cuba under U.S. pressure.
At least 73 people have died in Mexico's attempt to capture the notorious leader of the Jalisco cartel and the violent aftermath of his death. The body count taken by security officials included security forces, suspected cartel members, and others. El Mencho was the boss of one of the fastest-growing criminal networks in Mexico, known for trafficking drugs to the U.S. and staging attacks against government officials. The organization responded to his death with widespread violence, including blocking roads and setting fire to vehicles. The dead included 25 members of the Mexican National Guard, who were killed in 6 separate attacks. Some 30 criminal suspects, a prison guard, and an agent from the state prosecutor's office were also killed.
World in a Minute was brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose assembly and supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology, and integrity.
Recapping the top stories making nationwide news at this hour, Jamaicans for Justice left fuming after the security minister accuses the organization of living off blood money.
The human rights lobby group says it's seeking legal advice after what it says are defamatory comments from the senior cabinet minister.
The killers of 3-year-old in Denham Town have until tomorrow to surrender themselves to the police.
No Jamaicans reportedly harmed in flare-up of violence in Mexico.
I'm Ricardo Brooks.
And I'm Robian Williams.
Listeners, you can find the news on our website at revonews.ai and on the Revo News app. It's available on the Google Play and the App Store. News next, the headlines at 6.
Need to make a change to your title or need a title? GeoLand Title Limited is the place to be. They do lost title application, add and remove names from titles, wills, estates, first-time registration, land surveys included, affordable rates and flexible payment options, National Land Agency adjudication and land titling waivers available. They have 8 locations island-wide. Call 876-754-6436 or visit their website at geolandonline.com. GeoLand Title Limited. Secure your land, secure your title.
We have been very clinical, very strategic, very deliberate, and very committed to reducing the ultimate index of violence in the society, which is the murder rate. It was one of those intractable problems that many of you would have thought Jamaica would never be in that position. Aside from El Salvador, Jamaica is the only country in the region to have achieved this.
The proceeding was brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Sports here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Wayne Walker. We start with news on cricket. The West Indies, well, they sounded out a very strong warning to other title contenders. The ICC T20 World Cup in India. They brutally took apart the previously unbeaten Zimbabwe by 107 runs. They won Wankhede Stadium on Monday. Informed Shimron Hitmar, he crafted a brilliant, masterful 19-ball half-century before former captain Rovman Pal chipped in. Then it was sheer carnage. The two put on 122 for the third wicket in less than 10 overs as the Windies produced their highest ever total at a T20 World Cup. They made 254 for 6. Hedmar ended with 85 from 34 balls. Rovman Pal made 59 from 35. Shafin Rutherford was left unbeaten on 31, and that came from just 13 deliveries. It was power hitting at its absolute. The Zimbabweans simply just could not cope with in their reply. The scoreboard pressure took a toll, and they were bundled out for 147, and this came in just about 18 overs. Brad Evans was the top man. He led the way for them with 43. Gudakesh Moti was the top West Indian bowler. He bagged 4 for 28. Akil Hussain, who really set the standards when the Zimbabweans started the reply. He ended with 3 for 28, and there was 2 wickets for Matthew Ford, 2 for 27 in his figures. The captain, Shea Hope, he described the performance today at the Wankhede as perfect.
When you get 250 plus on the board in the T20 game, then you must be happy as a batting unit. And then with the ball being as clinical as we did in that, especially in the middle phase and power play. So I would call it more of a complete game for us, but Every opposition is different, every surface is different. There's no one set way that you can play cricket. If it's a good surface, you got to make sure you put the pressure on the bowlers because you know that you're going to need, let's say, extra 20, 30 runs to defend. So it's just about playing the situation. There's no set way to go about batting. When conditions are a bit more challenging, you got to find a way to keep scoring, whether it's more singles, lower risk shots, whereas when the surface is very good and the ball's flying all over the place, then you can play with a bit more freedom, and similarly to what we did today. So it's just about playing the situation and adapting.
Yeah, it's now 5 from 5 for the West Indies, but Hope was quick to point out that the job is far from over.
The way we've been playing it certainly gives us a lot of confidence. And like I always say, we've got to stay in the moment. Yes, we've played well to this stage, but again, we've got another game in a few days, and we got to make sure we turn up on that day again. So great start, great confidence booster, but those games are gone. You got to look ahead now. We've got South Africa next and then India after. So we got to keep playing our best cricket. If we can get better, continue getting better. If we're doing what we're doing well, continue doing it.
So West Indies white ball captain Shea Hope, you heard him talk about South Africa. That game is on Thursday morning Jamaica time. It's set to board off at 4:30, and the game will be played at the Narendra Modi Stadium. That's over in Ahmedabad. The West Indies traveled today after the victory. They've got 2 training days before they take on the might of South Africa. And Jamaica's national senior men's basketball team, well, they staged a 2-hour training session on Monday afternoon at the National Indoor Sports Center. They're preparing for the FIBA America's World Cup qualifiers this week. The Jam Rockers will take on the Bahamas on Thursday at the Indoor Sports Center. That game is set to tip off at 6 o'clock. Then on Sunday, they're set to take on Canada in the qualifiers. Coach Rick Turner, well, he is stuck with the same squad that beat Puerto Rico twice in Puerto Rico late last year, and the Jamaican players arrived in the island less than 24 hours ago. One half of the Bahamas team is already here on the land, and the rest are due later on Monday. They'll have their first training sessions, Bahamian, on a Tuesday afternoon. Meanwhile, President of the Jamaica Basketball Association, Paulton Gordon, says things are falling nicely into place for the 2 games. Jamaica was forced to forfeit the home leg of their tie against Puerto Rico. Both games were played in San Juan, and Gordon says they've had time to sort out the issues, and from now on, he says, it's upwards and onwards.
The biggest issue with the Puerto Rico leg was the timing that was required to put all pieces in place. It was just too expensive to get the upper scoreboard, which was like $40,000-$50,000. We decided to rent one this time around, which is being set up and put together by tomorrow. And the hoops again was another issue. We were thinking of trying to get a modern pair of hoops, but the Ministry of Tourism through Convention Center, we partnered with them to ensure that the hoops, which is probably the best set of hoops in the island from the Convention Center, is being used for this leg. And it has been approved, and the FIBA technical guys are quite happy with the infrastructure.
That's Paulton Gordon, the president of the Jamaica Basketball Association. Jamaica and Canada, they share the lead in Group B of the qualifiers following their twin victories over Puerto Rico and the Bahamas, respectively. And the Racing United and Chapelton Maroon, they were goalless after 25 minutes in their Ray and Nephew Jamaica Premier League encounter at the Tony Spalding Sports Complex. Racing, they're looking for a victory that would take them clear of Portmore United, who are in joint second place. Both are on 42 points, while Chapelton Maroons, a victory for them, will take them into the top 5 above Waterhouse. And coming up a bit later on at 7:30 to be exact, the Cellar Dwellers, Spanish Town Police, will battle the home team, Arnett Gardens. And finally in sports at this time, the resurgence of former champions Manchester United in the English Premier League continued on Monday. They beat Everton by 1-0 at the Hill Dickinson Stadium, and the Slovenian Benjamin Sesko, he scored the winner on 71 minutes after a sweeping Manchester United breakaway.
Cunha closed down by Garner. Oh, pass. And Keane has a race on here to try and hold up Brian Mbeumo. It's Sheshko! He's done it from the bench again! He's becoming their modern-day Solskjaer! But what a rapid break from Manchester United to steal the opening goal of the game. Who knows, could be the winning goal of the game.
Well, it turned out to be the winning goal of the game. United remain unbeaten under interim coach Michael Carrick, who have taken 16 from 18 available points, and they are now on 48 points. They're 3 clear of both Chelsea and the champions Liverpool in that massive race for the top 4. That will do it for sport. We're going to be back at 6:05 with much more with Alex Swaby.
For all your custom framing, printing, graphic design, and purchase of art, Make It Frame Art Jamaica Limited, serving you for over 40 years. The time by Frame Art Jamaica is
5:32.
On your mark, get set. Go for the winnings, BK, 5K and relay day. We're in it. Burger King 5K and relay is back Sunday, March 8, 2026, Emancipation Park at 6:30 a.m. Register under your community, club, or company to help them win any one of the Burger King Crown Challenge with over $2 million in cash and prizes. Enough people are going. Plus T-shirt, free. Medal, free. BK sandwiches, free. While stocks last. Go to www.runningeventsja.com to register by March 4, 2026. Sponsored by Rainforest.
Hey, my peeps, get this on the regular. Your HIV status if you consider. The least you ever test once a year. Just 15 minutes and your status clear. Cause it might not show up on your timeline and you learn too late, so you're out of time. A progressive future, mandatory. Real long life, our story. You hear?
Remember, update your status in a real life. Go HIV test today.
Just 15 minutes and your status clear. Real long life, our story. Real long life was a youth coming from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
You may have been hearing the teasers. Now it's official. Beginning Monday, February 9, 2026, Nationwide News Network launches something special. The Nationwide Family Club, exclusively on Patreon.
With the Family Club, members get early access to our documentaries before anyone else. Some of your favorite segments, including Cliff Says, What's on My Mind, Cover Story, and others will now be a click away inside the Family Club. There are 3 tiers of membership. First, Bronze, the Family Insider, behind-the-scenes access, Monday motivational videos, members-only chats, and on-air birthdays and anniversary shoutouts.
Second, Silver, Nationwide VIP, breaking news alerts, exclusive documentaries, quizzes, personal milestones celebrated on air, and weekly family roll call mentions. Oh, and for our biggest supporters,
our gold category, elite listener, full archive access, early releases, private studio tours, live show experiences, personalized birthday videos, and exclusive live streams. From historic election coverage to lifetime, impact, Jamaican milestones, and rare archive content. This is Nationwide like you've never seen it before. The Nationwide Family Club coming to you February 9, 2026 on Patreon.
Join the family, support Nationwide 90 FM, the station that informs, entertains, and educates. Visit patreon.com/Nationwide News Network. That's patreon.com/Nationwide News Network. Nationwide Family Club, where you are family, because we see you as family.
Cover Story is brought to you by
Multilink. Roll with control. Use Multilink. Safe, fast, and accepted in more locations.
Multilink, access every time, everywhere I go. Multilink, 24/7 access for me. It's just a win-win when we use Multilink. This card is Jamaican built, yeah. Fast and secure, you can use anywhere. Spend while supporting the economy. Look for the Multilink logo on your card and benefit from Jamaica's largest debit payment network. Multilink, 24/7 access for me.
What would I do without my Multilink?
Good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for joining me here for Nationwide at 5. It's time for the cover story. My name is Ricardo Brooks. And in the cover story this afternoon, a sort of war of words has erupted between the Security Minister and human rights lobby group Jamaicans for Justice. It was triggered this morning when on this station, the National Security Minister, the Deputy Prime Minister, accused Jamaicans for Justice of, quote, living off blood money. He was reacting to some civil society organizations, CSOs, who he says consistently undermine the work of the police force for financial gain. Here's a report from Mahiri Stewart.
Dr. Chang came out swinging against CSOs, including religious groups and Jamaicans for Justice, in his first media interview since resuming official duties following a period of illness. Speaking with George Davis on Nationwide this morning on Monday, the minister argued that the consistent broadside against the police force from the groups was selfish and unfair. A strident Dr. Chang says the criticism is based solely in whether or not police personnel were using body-worn cameras during incidents of fatal shootings.
There was what I consider a broadside, an unjust, selfish, and cruel broadside against police officers because they weren't using cameras.
By whom?
It was designed by various people in the community. There were the Jamaicans for Justice, others who claim their right to life, as some of the pastors who claim they know more about policing than police. And it was given a highlighting some section of the media.
According to Dr. Chang, the civil society groups are criticizing the police for their own benefit.
When the police apprehend the murderers, if they shoot, if one gets shot, the police is a murderer. That kind of discussion must be discontinued. I have to raise it because it's a young Jamaican's right, committed to justice and right, whose commitment to fair play is being questioned. And they will have the strength and the training to withstand it when their families start being alluded to in public spaces. It becomes a problem. The people in Jamaica for Justice and other areas must stop this. They are living off blood money.
Dr. Chang's comments come against an ongoing debate in sections of the society about the reduction in murders achieved in 2025 versus the number of police fatal killings for the period. He says the narratives being pushed by some CSOs suggest that the security forces are wantonly killing members of the public. The minister argues, however, that there is no evidence to suggest that police in this era are abusing their power.
In fact, evidence is contrary. When you plot the number of fatal shootings last year and reduction in murder, there is a mathematical formula. So this, it is perfectly aligned, which on a statistical basis, it means police are killing murderers. So murder goes down. But yet you come out with no evidence because the prosecution rates, despite Indicom, whose investigations are not impaired, they are budgeted for, supported by the government, they are independent good investigators, they have less than a 2% success rate. So there is no evidence to suggest that policemen in this era, and I emphasize that, now they can discuss that, is going out there and wantonly shooting people.
Minister Chang says the narrative is hurting young police personnel and undermining their confidence in doing their job.
And when you make that kind of broadside as if to suggest that the police are the murderers, which is what they're doing, you undermine the confidence, although the police officers are, the leadership is exercising their leadership. When a young man goes on the road and he knows that there's a gang over there, he will avoid it for a while. It is a natural emotional toning down because we take no consideration. These are young Jamaicans committed to protect and serve, yet they have families. When you get this kind of broadside and suggest that they are doing something immoral and corrupt, it hurts. And I think we have to make direct appeal to desist from this kind of activity.
Mahiri Stewart for Nationwide News.
Thank you, Mahiri. Now, hours later, Jamaicans for Justice responded in a statement, and I will read for you in relevant part what they had to say. The Human Rights Lobby Group says Jamaicans for Justice, JFJ, has taken note of comments made by Dr. Horace Chang, the Minister of National Security and Peace, and Deputy Prime Minister, Nationwide News Network. We find the framing of our work as living off blood money both unfortunate, untrue, and inflammatory. Such language does little, JFJ says, to advance constructive dialogue on public safety and accountability. It says, in light of the defamatory nature of the blood money accusation and its potential consequences, JFJ is currently seeking legal advice on the matter and any possible actions that may be warranted. JFJ says our public releases and positions are grounded in verifiable data drawn directly from official sources, including Indicom, the Ministry of National Security, the Jamaica Constabulary Force, and court records, as well as information provided by complainants. We make no assertions, JFJ says, beyond what these authoritative sources and processes indicate. In our critique, the human rights group says we do not broad brush police killings as extrajudicial. Rather, we highlight documented patterns, recurring complaints, and specific incidents such as the fatal shootings of Jamar Farquharson, Romario Sterling, and Teron Hewitt that warrant greater security. JFJ says it will not be slandered. It will not be slandered, and it has publicly called for adequate compensation and improved working conditions for police officers so they're not forced to litigate for fair wages and better treatment. It says the suggestions that they do not support the police is therefore unfounded. It says a broadside of this nature by the minister unnecessarily pits officers against a civil society organization which is dedicated to shared goals of safety and justice. JFJ says it welcomes Dr. Chang's return to active duties following his recovery and wish him continued good health and success in his responsibilities. However, as Deputy Prime Minister and the Minister of National Security, JFJ says a great deal is expected of Dr. Chang in terms of leadership, measured discourse, and fostering an environment where accountability and security reinforce each other and do not clash. Joining us now to react, we have political commentator Jermaine Barrett and political commentator Kevin O'Brien Chang. Gentlemen, good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining me.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me. Good afternoon.
All right, Jermaine Barrett, let me start with you. Did the security minister cross a line?
I think his comments were unfortunate and inflammatory. I think there are concerns with respect to how it is that the public is engaging with the issue, and I don't know that the comment does anything to advance a conscientious examination of the issue. That much I will say. I think it's necessary that both sides of this debate, this conversation, tone down and be a lot more rational and focus on the shared goal of reducing crime and bringing Jamaica to a state of lawfulness and peace.
Kevin O'Brien Chang, is it time to tone down the rhetoric?
I can tell you something. 95% of Jamaicans are with Dr. Chang. What is the greatest human right? These are human rights groups, right?
The right to life, they say, is the greatest
of
all of them.
The right to life, the right to stay alive. What's the number one job of a government?
Security, they would say.
Safe.
Yes.
Keep its people safe. All right? And for 20, 30 years, Jamaica had the highest murder rate in the world. By far. It was embarrassing. We were up at 60, the next people were like at 40 sometimes. And for over consistently, other countries would have high murder rates and then drop out, We were up there in the top 5 for like 30 years straight. Not only embarrassing, but horrific. How could a society allow such thousands of people to be killed every year and people see business as normal? Finally, we got a prime minister with the balls to attack the gangs, which were protected by both sides of them. They can't tell me any different. PNP and JLP protected their henchmen for elections. Finally, the Prime Minister came, said, no, we are going to give the police freedom to take on the gangs, no matter who they're connected with. Murders have dropped from those 1,600 a few years ago. It was at under 700 last year.
But Kevin, hold on, Kevin. Hold on, Kevin. Let me just be clear on something. Let me just be clear on something.
They don't want any good
calling. Hold on, Kevin. Calling for accountability from the police. Surely you're not saying that necessarily translates into being anti-police.
What is Indicom doing? Indicom is there to ensure accountability from the police.
But that doesn't mean other voices can't be elevated Indicom, in that quest.
The 2% where Indicom finds a problem, let the human rights people deal with them, because the police are not perfect. Let's get this straight. No organization in the world is perfect.
But I don't know that Jamaicans for Justice is requiring perfection, are they, Kevin?
Well, let them deal with the ones Indicom has a problem with. Don't attack every police killing. And this good Jamaican for Justice, they mean no good for the country. Remember that when the man...
No, but hold on, Kevin. No, Kevin, just a second, Kevin. Just a second, Kevin.
That cut the 5 throats
Kevin.
of the picnic and the mother.
Kevin.
What did they say? What about rehabilitation?
Kevin.
Yes.
Jamaicans for Justice has existed since 1999. And their mandate has always been to hold the security forces, the state, for abuses of human rights. And I'm saying to you, hold on, and I'm saying to you, and I need you to accept this. Surely you're not saying that to ask for accountability from the security forces means that one is anti-police. That is not your position, right?
No.
All right, I'll open a break. Let me take the break. Let me take the break and come back with more. Jermaine Barrett, Kevin O'Brien Chang. Hold the line.
Order Pizza Hut online at pizzahutjamaica.com or through WhatsApp at 876-837-4488. Pizza Hut, now that's delivering. The time by Pizza Hut is...
It's 5:48.
Multi-link, access every time, everywhere I go. Multi-link, 24/7 access for me. It's just a win-win when we use multi-link. This card is Jamaican built, yeah. Fast and secure, you can use anywhere. Spend while supporting the economy.
Look for the Multi-Link logo on your card and benefit from Jamaica's largest debit payment network.
Multi-link, 24/7 access for me.
What would I do without my Multi-Link?
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies, including plugs, switches, panel boards, and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer, and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
Need to make a change to your title or need a title? GeoLand Title Limited is the place to be. They do lost title application, add and remove names from titles, wills, estates, first-time registration, land surveys included, affordable rates and flexible payment options, National Land Agency adjudication and land titling waivers available. They have 8 locations island-wide. Call 876-754-6436 or visit their website at geolandonline.com. GeoLand Title Limited. Secure your land, secure your title.
Back with you on Nationwide at 5. It's the cover story. I'm Ricardo Brooks, and I'm pleased to be joined by Kevin O'Brien Chang and Jermaine Barrett. They're weighing in on this vexed issue of the posturing of human rights lobby groups. And this morning, the National Security Minister, the Deputy Prime Minister, came out swinging. He has accused human rights lobby groups, he named Jamaicans for Justice in particular, of living off blood money. Kevin O'Brien Chang says the Security Minister is quite right, and he speaks on behalf of the majority of Jamaicans. Jermaine Barrett says the comment may have been too inflammatory and it may have unnecessarily crossed a line. Jermaine Barrett, but is Kevin right, though, that there is a certain posturing to civil society advocacy that Jamaicans may now be seeing as anti-police, and that they should perhaps change that approach?
There's merit in that position. I think Kevin is right that the vast majority of Jamaicans view civil society as being anti the fight against crime and defenders of criminality. I don't share that view. I don't think that view is reflected in the evidence, but that is likely to be the case. The fact, though, is that civil society needs to communicate a lot clearer to the Jamaicans at large, their core mandate, and that they also need to defend the police when it is that the police are under attack, defend citizens when the citizens are under attack, and not be seen as they constantly are as being defenders of people with, who come into a conflict with the law quite often. But I don't agree with Kevin at the same time that this matter has to do with, well, if it is that you're
holding accountable and demanding accountability from the police officers and the JCF, that you are necessarily against the downward spiral in crime and homicides. I don't think that makes sense at all.
Kevin, is part of the problem the advocacy? How can JFJ change that perception then? The perception you hold that they're anti-police and they don't mean Jamaica any good?
Once upon a time, the police were very brutal. No question about that. Remember, for years, police have been hated in Jamaica, Ever since 1867, they were formed. But Indicom has come along. Indicom's job is to make sure that they examine every police killing, that they're not killing innocent people. Jamaican for Justice, they're trying to do a job which is being done better by somebody else. What they should be doing is looking at the bad eggs. Yes, you have innocent people being killed or questionable. Focus on those. And also get justice for the victims. Does anybody remember Yatanya Francis? Does that name ring a bell?
Yes.
2018, this poor little 14-year-old girl was murdered, raped, and her body was burnt in Arnett Gardens. Right? Never have we heard anything about anybody being brought to justice. That is what a Jamaican for Justice should be. Get justice for people like Yatanya Francis.
But
right?
Kevin, they do work. But they do work on behalf of people.
Yeah, but hold on. When they make statements, that man that cut that throat of the mother and children in Clarendon a couple of years ago, 5 of them killed. What was the making for justice argument? What about rehabilitation for this poor young man? Now you tell me how a group like that needs any good for the country, or people are going to assume they want good for the country. Are they here to protect innocent people, to try to get justice for those who are not getting justice? No, that is supposed to be their job, not to come and broadbush and change the police who brought murders down by 50%. That is the pressure of the public, and they make statements that the public cannot but conclude. They don't care about innocent Jamaicans. They want to protect their gang babies and to get their funding. How can you blame Jamaicans for not concluding that based on the statements they make?
Just to again clarify, Jamaicans for Justice is considering that kind of posturing defamatory. They say it's untrue and that their funding does not differ from the funding received. Let me just finish this point. The funding that the government, the state, receives from international donor organizations. Yes, Kevin.
What I'm saying is based on their statements and posturing, how can the public not conclude that they do not value innocent Jamaican lives and are just want to attack the police to get funding? I'm not saying it is so, but based on their statements, how can we conclude differently? When the police are killed, a soldier was killed last week. Did we hear Jamaicans for Justice say this poor man putting his life on the line to keep Jamaicans safe? We feel for him? No, you never hear that from Jamaican for Justice. You don't hear them having a sympathy with the security forces who put their lives on the line to keep people safe.
But I can say, Kevin.
Dr. Blake has said about the body cameras, it is a very complex issue. We cannot drop them, so it requires a huge technological back end to keep it thing and all that. He has said repeatedly, and they keep coming with this soundbite thing to catch people and to catch people abroad.
Yeah.
That the Jamaican police are brutal.
Okay, let me just say, Jamaicans for Justice has in the past condemned the killing of police officers. I think part of the problem is perhaps the media has not reported it, but I certainly have seen those statements. So let me ask you, Jermaine. Does JFJ then need to start? You think it could help if they start being equally vocal, as Kevin is suggesting, when members of the security forces come under attack? Because they do it. That
would help, Ricardo, but I think importantly as well, while we celebrate the new JCF, the JCF that respects human rights, the JCF that is demonstrating greater degrees of professionalism, the JCF that is holding itself accountable for the best practices in policing, we also have to credit civil society for having advocated and agitated to the extent that we are getting the kind of services that we're getting from the JCF. No, but it's not. I think it is problematic, hugely problematic, when people like my colleague commentator here condemn civil society and ask questions like, do they mean any good for Jamaica? They have secured a lot of good for Jamaica by virtue of the kinds of sort of professional ethos that we're experiencing now from the JCF. Indicom and the accountability mechanisms have been fought for long and hard by groups like JCF. JFJ, and we ought to be grateful to them for that as well.
Yeah,
I have written articles in the past praising JFJ. You know, I am not against human rights people when they're doing their job properly and being responsible and making the proper statements and seem to be defending innocent citizens. I support that 100%. But they had lost the plot about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Totally went off track. It started when they started wanting to put these illegal things in school about the buggery law and all that. They lost track of keeping innocent Jamaicans fighting justice for them. Why are they not calling for people like Yatanya Francis? That's one I've never forgotten, that Yatanya Francis. The poor mother, see something being burnt, thinking it's a cow or something, and is her daughter being burnt after being raped. And has Jamaica for Justice ever said we're going to try to find who did that? No.
Yeah.
You don't hear them talking about that is where they should be doing it. Trying to get justice for those who have no other way to get justice. That is how they started. That is how Jamaica for Justice started out, that people supported them. But Indicom has now come to keep the police under control. That's their job. Jamaican Justice for Job is to get justice for those who don't have access to justice. Not to come with crackpot statements about rehabilitation for a man that cut 5 throats. That kind of crazy arguments. And then to cast aspersions at the police, they make these very selective statements, about the police to try and get attention of their people abroad, to paint the Jamaican police badly.
Kevin O'Brien
can't tell me differently.
Jermaine Barrett, thank you so much for your time. I suspect the conversation will continue. Appreciate it. Just before we go to the headlines, listeners, I have a bit of news to share with you. After 5 incredible years behind this microphone, this will be my final week with you. Indeed, it is my final week at Nationwide News. My last day in office will be this Friday, February 27, and my last day hosting this show will be tomorrow, Tuesday, February 24. I want you to know it has been the greatest honor of my life to sit in this studio behind this microphone and to share perspectives with you. And it has been my privilege to challenge, to explain, and sometimes simply to listen. And I know some of you, to annoy you. Your calls, your messages, your disagreements, your encouragement, they have shaped me as much as I have shaped any national conversation. You see, radio is an intimate thing, and you've invited me into your cars, your kitchens, your workplaces, and your lives. And I've never taken that for granted, so thank you. I'm eternally grateful to Cliff, George, Tyrone, Wayne, Marjorie, and all the fantastic editors I've worked with during my time here. They've made me a better journalist and a better man, a way better man. I'm also incredibly grateful to my outstanding colleagues in the newsroom, all of you. I doubt I've ever had a better job than being your editor. Thank you also to the administrative team, Simone especially. Thank you to the tech team, the sales and marketing team, accounts, and the wider Nationwide staff. My sojourn in journalism has always been about nation building, and that passion has not left me. As I move into a new phase of my career, I will continue to build up this country I love so much. As I sign off on this chapter of my professional story, I do so with deep gratitude. Thank you for trusting me. Thank you for holding me accountable. I hope you will all keep the conversations going, stay informed, and passionate about our country and its affairs. That's the only way we will ensure that she plays her part in advancing the welfare of the whole human race. So once again, thank you all. It has been my honor and privilege. The headlines are next.
Tune in to Cliff Views Online, hosted by George Davis, right here on Nationwide 90 FM, Wednesday, February 25, as we broadcast live from the Jamaica Pegasus, where Regency Petroleum Limited is officially launching QPR Pothole Filler, an innovative asphalt repair product designed to provide permanent solutions to Jamaicans' persistent road maintenance challenges. We all know potholes are a daily frustration, draining public resources and damaging vehicles across the island. QPR changes that story. It's the #1 asphalt repair product in the USA, now available in Jamaica. With ministerial endorsement, QPR aligns with government priorities for safer, more efficient infrastructure while supporting a proudly Jamaican-owned company leading innovation in the energy and construction sectors. So tune in to Cliff Views Online, Wednesday, February 25 with George Davis, live from the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel for the official launch of QPR Pothole Filler. This broadcast is brought to you by Regency Petroleum Limited, fueling growth, building Jamaica.
The time brought to you by Guardian Life. Live secure, live easy is
2 minutes after 6.
Nationwide headlines at 6.
Good evening with the headlines at 6. I'm Noragay Banton. Human rights lobby group Jamaicans for Justice, JFJ, says it's seeking legal advice about the way forward following what it says are inflammatory comments made by National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang. In his first media interview since resuming official duties, Dr. Chang, who is also the country's Deputy Prime Minister, accused the organization and other civil groups of living off blood money by their constant criticisms of the nation's police force. He accused them of living off blood money.
When the police are praying the murderers, if one gets shot, the police are murderer. That kind of discussion must be discontinued. I have to raise it because it's a young Jamaican's right, committed to justice and right, whose commitment to fair play is being questioned. And they will have the strength and the training to withstand it when their families start being alluded to in public spaces. It becomes a problem. The people in Jamaica for justice and other areas must stop this. They are living off blood money.
Unsurprisingly, JFJ did not take the comment lightly. The lobby group responded in a media release just hours later. It says Dr. Chang's framing of its work as living off blood money is unfortunate, untrue, and inflammatory. It says in light of the defamatory nature of the phrase and its potential consequences, it's seeking legal advice on the matter and any possible actions that may be warranted. On the matter of the police, JFJ says its positions are grounded in verifiable data from official sources, including the Independent Commission of Investigations, INDECOM, the JCF itself, as well as information provided by complainants. The lobby group says it makes no assertions beyond what the authoritative sources and processes indicate. It further argues that police killings are not labeled as extrajudicial. National Security Minister Dr. Chang says he's not concerned about possible cabinet changes as he retains the full confidence of the Prime Minister. He was speaking on Nationwide this morning on Monday.
I am Deputy Prime Minister. I don't do reshuffling, but I am not aware of any. I have no conflict with my Prime Minister and any sort of being, removed. I'm confident that the Prime Minister I can enjoy the country of the Prime Minister, and we'll complete the mission. We have targets to meet. We're going to completely invest into our police force to take them to a level where we can consider their success sustainable. Already, I think we are near there because the quality of our officers, their professionalism is beyond question. The public is seeing the difference.
Dr. Chang's comments followed questions about his strong defense of the police on Monday against civil society organizations who criticized the JCF. Nationwide's George Davis asked whether the minister lashed out against the civil society groups due to his possible pending retirement from politics. But Dr. Chang says he's simply annoyed.
I'm not setting the date for my for retiring, and my Prime Minister continues to have confidence in me. And as long as he does so, I will serve. Naturally, politics have a cycle. Every 5 years, we face a confirmation, despite of all this thing about recall and so forth. I recall every 5 years. I have a confidence if I go, my conscience will support me. But that's how I'm doing it. It's just that I said somewhat annoyed and angry because I live in a constituency where the brutality of crime was palpable.
Yeah. Dr. Horace Chang, National Security Minister. The police say the two men wanted in connection with last Saturday's murder of 3-year-old Jace Pinnock in Denham Town, West Kingston, have until Tuesday evening to turn themselves in. Assistant Commissioner of Police, ACP Michael Phipps, is the commanding officer for the Area 4 Police.
We have intensified our investigations regarding the murder of 3-year-old Jace Pinnock. Despite our efforts, we have not been able to locate the persons who were listed as persons of interest in this matter. At this time, we are again appealing to Deconey Mahoney, otherwise called Romy, Joseph Kenneth Smith, otherwise called Beanie Bud, and a man known only as Juby, to surrender to us no later than 6 p.m. tomorrow.
Both wanted men are allegedly members of the Street Corner Gang. Preliminary information is suggesting that the attack is linked to gang activity as warring factions battle for control of turf. Jace's father and brother were also injured in the Saturday morning attack. They remain in hospital. And Foreign Affairs Minister Kamina Johnson-Smith says no Jamaicans have been harmed during an eruption of violence in Mexico. This is based on reports received from the Central American country. In a social media post on Monday, Minister Johnson-Smith says the embassy staff located in Mexico City have been unaffected. Likewise, she says there's been no reports of Jamaicans harmed. The Foreign Affairs Minister says normalcy has largely returned to the affected areas in the country. The outbreak of violence was linked to the death of the leader of one of the country's most dangerous cartels. Members of the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, which is one of the most powerful and feared criminal organizations in Mexico, have unleashed a wave of violence across 20 Mexican states. Those were the headlines at 6. I'm Nora Gay Banton. Sport is next.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies including plugs, switches, panel boards and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
On your mark, get set. Go for the winnings, BK, 5K and relay day. We're in it.
Burger King 5K and relay is back Sunday, March 8, 2026, Emancipation Park at 6:30 a.m. Register under your community, club or company to help them win any one of the Burger King Crown Challenge with over $2 million in cash and prizes. Enough people are going. Plus t-shirt, free, medal, free, BK sandwiches, free, while stocks last. Go to www.runningeventsja.com to register by March 4, 2026. Sponsored by Rainforest.
You've stood with us through every headline and every difficult moment. The Family Club is how we keep this going strong. Together, join the nationwide 90 FM Family Club now on Patreon.
Good evening with your sports report. I am Alric Swaby. We bowl things off with some cricket as the West Indies sounded out a warning to other title contenders at the ICC T20 World Cup with a brutal all-round display to rip apart previously unbeaten Zimbabwe by 107 runs at the Wankhede on Monday in their opening game in the Super 8 phase of the tournament. In form, Shimronet Meyer crafted a masterful 19-ball half-century before former captain Ravman Powell chipped in. Then it was sheer carnage. The two put on 122 for the third wicket in less than 10 overs as the West Indies produced their highest total ever at the World Cup, 254 for 6. Ed Meyer ended with 85 from 34 balls and Powell 59 from 35. Shafrin Rutherford was left unbeaten on 31 from 13 balls. The Zimbabweans simply could not cope when they replied, bundled out for 147 inside 18 overs. Brad Evans led the way with 43 as spinner Gudakesh Motie claimed 4 for 28, Akil Hussain 3 for 28 and Matthew Ford 2 for 27. Captain Shea Hope described the Windies' performance as perfect.
When you get 250 plus on the board in the T20 game, then you must be happy as a batting unit. And then with the ball being as clinical as we did in that, especially in the middle phase and power play. So I would call it more of a complete game for us. But every opposition is different, every surface is different. There's no one set way that you can play cricket. If it's a good surface, you got to make sure you put the pressure on the bowlers because you know that you're going to need, let's say, extra 20, 30 runs to defend. So it's just about playing the situation. There's no set way to go about batting. When conditions are a bit more challenging, you got to find a way to keep scoring, whether it's more singles, lower risk shots, whereas when the surface is very good and the ball's flying all over the place, then you can play with a bit more freedom, and similarly to what we did today. So it's just about playing the situation and adapting.
Hope was also quick to point out that the job is far from over.
The way we've been playing it certainly gives us a lot of confidence, and like I always say, we've got to stay in the moment. Yes, we've played well to this stage, but again, we've got another game in a few days, and we got to make sure we turn up on that day again. So great start, great confidence booster, but those games are gone. We got to look ahead now. We've got South Africa next and then India after. So we got to keep playing our best cricket. If we can get better, continue getting better. If we're doing what we're doing well, continue doing it.
Shea Hope, the West Indies will next face South Africa in a top-of-the-table clash on Thursday morning, Jamaica time, in Ahmedabad, starting at 4:30 a.m. Now to basketball, as Jamaica's national senior men's basketball team staged a 2-hour training session on Monday at the National Indoor Sports Center as they prepare for crucial FIBA America's World Cup qualifiers in Kingston. The Jamrockers will face Bahamas on Thursday at the Indoor Center starting at 6 p.m. before facing Canada on Sunday at the same venue. Coach Rick Turner has stuck with the same squad that beat Puerto Rico twice in San Juan late last year. The Jamaican players arrived in the island in the last 24 hours. One half of the Bahamas team is already in the island, with the next batch scheduled to arrive late on Monday. They'll have their first training session on Tuesday. Meanwhile, President of the Jamaica Basketball Association, Paulton Gordon, says things are falling nicely into place for the games. Jamaica was forced to forfeit the home leg of their tie against Puerto Rico last November, but Gordon told Nationwide Sports they have had time to address the matter and it's now all system go for Thursday and Sunday.
The biggest issue with the Puerto Rico leg was the timing that was required to put all pieces in place. It was just too expensive to get a proper scoreboard, which was like $40,000-$50,000. We decided to rent one this time around, which is being set up and put together by tomorrow. And the hoops again was another issue. We were thinking of trying to get a modern pair of hoops, but the Ministry of Tourism through Convention Center, we partnered with them to ensure that the hoops, which is probably the best set of hoops in the island from the Convention Center, is being used for this leg. And it has been approved, and the FIBA technical guys are quite happy with the infrastructure.
Jamaica and Canada share lead in Group B of the qualifiers, both on 4 points, following twin victories each over Puerto Rico and Bahamas. Now to football, as Racing United are leading Chapelton Maroons 1-0 at sports time in their rare-never Jamaica Premier League encounter at the Tony Spalding Complex. Javon Cole gave the St. Catherine-based Racing the lead in the 29th minute. Racing are looking for a victory that would take them 3 clear of Portmore United, with whom they share second place on 42 points, while Chapelton Maroons' victory will take them into the top 5 ahead of Waterhouse. Coming up at 7:30, Arnett Gardens will face Cellar Dwellers Spanish Town Police at the same venue. The resurgence of former champions Manchester United in the English Premier League continued on Monday after they beat Everton 1-0 at the Hill-Dixons Stadium. The Slovenian Benjamin Sisko scored the winner on 71 minutes after a sweeping Manchester United breakaway.
Cunha closed down by Garner.
Oh, pass.
Keane has a race on here to try and hold up Brian Mbeumo. It's Šeško! He's done it from the bench again! He's becoming their modern-day Solskjaer! But what a rapid break from Manchester United to steal the opening goal of the game. Who knows, could be the winning goal of the game.
United remain unbeaten under interim coach Michael Carrick, who've taken 16 from 18 available points, and they are now on 48 points, 3 clear of both Chelsea and champions Liverpool in the race for top 4. Dick Advocaat has resigned from his role as head coach of the Curaçao national football team just 3 months after helping them to become the smallest nation to ever qualify for a World Cup. The 78-year-old Advocaat has made the decision in order to care for his daughter, who he said is experiencing serious health problems. He said family always comes before football, therefore this is a natural decision. Advocaat says he considers qualifying the smallest nation in the world for the World Cup one of the highlights of his career. Curaçao qualified for the World Cup back in November after playing out a goalless draw with Jamaica at the National Stadium in Kingston. Advocaat was not on the bench for that game. He was forced to return home because his wife was ill. He will be replaced by another experienced Dutch coach in Fred Rutten with immediate effect. Curaçao have been drawn against Germany, Ecuador and the Ivory Coast at this summer's tournament. Now, Jamaica's national under-20 football team will kick off their campaign for a place in the 2026 CONCACAF Under-20 Championships when they face Bonaire in their opening Group B encounter on Monday at 7 p.m. Jamaica time. The Young Reggae Boys are among several teams competing in the qualifying tournament, which runs from February 23 to March 4 and will determine the final participants for next year's championships. Joining Group B, Jamaica will also face Puerto Rico, St. Kitts and Nevis, Cayman Islands, the Turks and Caicos Islands, and in a round-robin format. Only the group winner will secure a spot in the championships. The qualifiers feature a member association ranked between 7th and 41st in the Confederation, with only the first-place team from each group advancing. Awaiting the successful qualifiers are 6 preceded nations that have already secured their place based on rankings: the United States, Mexico, Honduras, Panama, Cuba, and Guatemala. Rudolph Speed, interim head coach of Jamaica's senior men's football team, explained that he was satisfied with the team's performance during the 2-0 victory over Martinique over the weekend. Speed, who was taking charge of his second game in charge, added that his opponents gave his team a true test heading into a crucial interconfederation playoffs.
The players was in control for most of the game. They moved the ball well. They didn't have to rush their plays. I just thought that the players acclimatized well, and a few players really started out first. Martinique thought they started surprisingly very well initially, but I think as soon as we scored, they had to dig a little deep, and I thought they put up a really good fight until they scored the second goal, and I suppose we were just in cruise control. The game would have dropped this quality somewhat when they started to make changes.
Rudolph Speed. And finally, in volleyball, the Jamaica Volleyball Association National Club Championships opened its 2026 season with 7 competitive matches across the men's and women's division, setting the tone for an exciting championship campaign ahead. More in this report. Okay, we'll have that later on. That's all the time we have for sports. Join us tomorrow morning at 6:05 a.m.
The news cycle doesn't end on Friday. It needs perspective. That's why every Sunday at midday, Nationwide 90 FM presents The Week That Was. A clear, informed review of the top stories that shaped the past week, what really mattered and what lies ahead. No noise, no theatrics, just analysis, context, and clarity. The week that was. Sundays at 12 p.m. Understand the news before the week begins. Only on Nationwide 90 FM, a new revolution in media.
Need to make a change to your title or need a title? GeoLand Title Limited is the place to be. They do lost title application, add and remove names from titles, wills, estates, first-time registration, land surveys included, affordable rates and flexible payment options, National Land Agency adjudication and land titling waivers available. They have 8 locations island-wide. Call 876-754-6436 or visit their website at geolandonline.com. GeoLand Title Limited. Secure your land, secure your title.
Multi-link, access every time, everywhere I go. Multi-link, 24/7 access for me. It's just a win-win when we use multi-link. This card is Jamaican built, yeah. Fast and secure, you can use anywhere. Spend while supporting the economy.
Look for the multi-link logo on your card and benefit from Jamaica's largest debit payment network.
Multi-link, 24/7 access for me.
What would I do without my multi-link?
Wait the town to tell the people.
We love showing you the fun side of Jamaica. New places, good food, real vibes, and pure adventure.
Sweet Jamaica, sweet Jamaica, we now left ya.
If you enjoy exploring with us, come closer. Join the Nationwide 90 FM Family Club today on Patreon.
Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, is a financial reporting firm that delivers accounting and compliance services on time. Call us today at 876-908-0486-7. Email us at clientservices@cocnjamaica.com or visit our website at www.cocnjamaica.com. COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology, and integrity.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies, including plugs, switches, panel boards, and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer, and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
So some of you have been listening longer than I've been talking on radio, so this is our way of keeping it strong together. Join the Nationwide 90 FM Family Club on Patreon and stay with us.
Every day, Jamaicans have something to say. In the group chats, on social media, in the streets, there's a place where it all comes together. The comment section. This is not a lecture. This is not a call-in show. This is the hottest topics of the day, filtered through real opinions, real WhatsApp messages, real voice notes, real reactions. You agree, disagree, sound off, text it, voice note it, debate it. Comments section, Monday to Friday from 7 to 7:30 p.m. only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media.
Tune in to Cliff Views Online, hosted by George Davis, right here on Nationwide 90 FM, Wednesday, February 25, as we broadcast live from the Jamaica Pegasus, where Regency Petroleum Limited is officially launching QPR Pothole Filler, an innovative asphalt repair product designed to provide permanent solutions to Jamaicans' persistent road maintenance challenges. We all know potholes are a daily frustration, draining public resources and damaging vehicles across the island. QPR changes that story. It's the #1 asphalt repair product in the USA, now available in Jamaica. With ministerial endorsement, QPR aligns with government priorities for safer, more efficient infrastructure while supporting a proudly Jamaican-owned company leading innovation in the energy and construction sectors. So tune in to Cliff Views Online, Wednesday, February 25 with George Davis, live from the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel for the official launch of QPR Pothole Filler.
This broadcast is brought to you by Regency Petroleum Limited, fueling growth, building Jamaica.
It's Monday, get over your blues. Or Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. The E-Zone is here for you. With the Stinger Honey Bee
and Curry Boy things
from 3 to 5 p.m. on Nationwide 90 FM.
We've got your entertainment news.
Then we want to hear your views. Why you say?
Jump in the mix.
Or the hot seat.
Don't miss our brain busters.
Or the crazy giveaways.
Let's talk fashion.
Send us your outfit of the day. Ooh, cutesy. Very demure.
Are you looking for love?
Come on one of our blind dates. Send your request to ezoneblindates@gmail.com. That's ezoneblindates@gmail.com.
And stay tuned for your confessions.
These are my confessions. Share them with us at ezoneconfessions@yahoo.com. I mean, is this planet Earth?
Is it?
I don't know. Let me check. Either way, it's got a buzz.
And a bugger thing.
Ow! Ow!
Turn up the heat with Hot Listing, Nationwide 90 FM's new on-air and online classifieds feature. If you have a car for sale, room for rent, or yard sale come up. If you look at work or need stuff. If you provide a service, make it a Hot Listing, Nationwide 90 FM's new on-air and online classified segment. Your listing plays again and again. From morning till evening. You sing it, we play it. You say it once, Jamaica hears it all day, every hour. Contact our sales team now at 876-630-1210 or sales at nationwidenewsnetwork.com. Hot Listings on Nationwide 90 FM, a new revolution in media.
Wake up, Jamaica.
It's another glorious day on Nationwide this morning. From your 6 a.m. alarm to the news at 6. Coming up in the news at 6 to me telling you what's on my mind.
To more news at 7 a.m. Coming up in the news at 7. And then the biggest issues dissected, interrogated and discussed on the front page. Nationwide this morning fires you up and sets you right for the remainder of the day.
And there's much more until 9 a.m. Want to know which roads to avoid on your morning commute?
Time now for Street Smarts 2 with Ludwig McLean.
Listen to Street Smart.
Want to hear more about things happening at the community level outside the bustling corporate area? Listen to Across Jamaica.
George, it's someone's birthday.
Happy birthday, yeah, my friend.
And that someone will hear a special greeting every morning via the Birthday Club.
Nationwide this morning on the revolution in media.
It's coffee, tea, and everything else.
For those who want an energetic, rip-roaring start to their day.
Drive the most exciting new vehicles in Jamaica. Schedule your 2024 Ford Ranger pickup or Ford Everest 7-seater SUV test drive now. Call or visit KIG today.
The time by KIG is...
It's 29 minutes after 6. Good evening. Thank you so much for staying with me here on Nationwide at 5. It's time for the nation's business. I'm Ricardo Brooks, and we're turning our attention to that vexed and, frankly, appalling, it's happened too often, the appalling issue of child murders, the murdering of our children. Now, Child Rights Lobby Group, Hear the Children's Cry, is renewing its call for a $1 million bounty to be placed on the heads of child killers. They're also calling for harsher penalties for those who harm children. This comes after Saturday's murder of 3-year-old Jace Pinnock in Denham Town in West Kingston. His 8-year-old brother and father were also injured in that incident, and they remain hospitalized. According to West Kingston MP Desmond McKenzie, the shooting incident, which claimed the life of 3-year-old Jace, was a deliberate attack on the family. McKenzie was speaking on Cliff Hughes Online on Monday.
Jace's father took him up because his other 2 sons were in the room. And those animals, if he really came to shoot the father, and he has his son in his arm, the common thing you could do, you could either pull the child out from him and shoot him. But they proceed to shoot him with his son in his arm and then shoot the other son that was there. Grandfather was able to escape, and the other one was grazed by the bullet.
So it was a calculated attack on the family?
Yeah, they went there deliberately.
Desmond McKenzie there, the MP for West Kingston, speaking with Cliff Hughes, and you really have to ask yourself what kind of monster, what kind of animal turns a weapon on a 3-year-old. Yeah, a 3-year-old is skinny. 3-year-old barely has any body to be able to be collecting. And I think I heard the baby's mother say he was shot 3 times. So just imagine the absolute horror of that, yeah? Desmond McKenzie says preliminary information suggests that this may have been an act of retaliation. Now, on February 8th, 4-year-old Sanaya O'Brien was shot and killed by gunmen in Manchester. Here, the Children's Cry says a government-sponsored high-profile bounty would not only discourage hard-hearted potential murderers, but it would also help to encourage community support for police investigations. Director Nigel Cooper says in addition to the murder of children, the wounding of children should also carry harsher penalties. Cooper says according to the Jamaica Association of Pediatric Surgeons, approximately 450 children under the age of 12 suffered injuries related to violence in 2024. And according to that association, many cases are believed to have been unreported in that period. Nigel Cooper joins us now. Good evening.
Good evening, Ricardo. Thanks for having me. Good evening to you and your listeners.
And thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. All right, so let me understand now how this $1 million bounty you're proposing would work.
Okay. Well, first, we want to issue our condolences to the families of 4-year-old Sanaya and 3-year-old Jace in Denham Town.
Mm-hmm.
We can't imagine such violence against helpless children. It's unthinkable.
Yeah.
So what Children's Cry, one thing we are calling, when you are called for, is that as a disincentive, we are calling for the government, and let me just give you some context, between 2020 and 2024, annually in Jamaica, we have an average about 30 children being murdered during that each year, between 2020 and 2024, that on average, right, each year. So we're seeing that this is something that is a trend that we don't want to continue. We're seeing, especially from last year, where deliberate, based on the reactions on the eyewitnesses accounts that persons, some gunmen are deliberately targeting children in their rampage.
Yes.
And so one response we're seeing is that it should be known, it should be a policy, it should be standard procedure that if you go and you murder a child, there should be an automatic $1 million bounty on your head. So any gunman who is thinking about pulling a trigger or going in to do any wrongs knows in advance that, look here, if you buck up a child, don't pull the trigger. But if you pull the trigger, there's a greater likelihood that you're going to get caught because there's going to be a $1 million bounty on your head.
But wouldn't that, for that to work, wouldn't members of these communities have to be willing to come forward and give information to the police?
Yes, and we're seeing the mechanics that these are incentives, and it puts, historically, when these, I know Desmond McKenzie has offered a reward in the media.
$600,000,
yes. Right. So these things do help. I mean, you can speak to the police, the security forces do say that these incentives do help. It does help to get information. It does help with the intelligence gathering. So it does help. We're not saying that it is a perfect solution, but it does help, and we want it communicated to the gunmen that when they go out. So two things. Before they act, we don't want it to happen. Well, it happens. So the minister does it now, or the minister in this case, and somebody does. We want it to have standard procedure. So any gunman going out knows in advance that that's additional disincentive to pull the trigger if a child is there.
Yeah. In terms of the harsher penalties, because I was thinking about this earlier today, Nigel, and I was saying to myself, do we need a special kind of murder in terms of how we classify child murders? I know in the United States, for example, they have aggravated murder. Here in Jamaica, we have capital murder. Should we classify the murder of innocent citizens, children, the elderly, disabled people, etc., as a form of capital murder?
I think that is something our legislators should look at. Yes, we would agree with that. But Ricardo, we also have another issue. Is which society, why society breeding or generating these individuals who would be disposed to killing a child? So whilst we're saying, hey, immediately put on the $1 million bounty, we recognize we have to look at societal issues as to say, why is that happening? How somebody in their right mind, they could be in their right mind, pull a trigger on a child. So there are, and we keep seeing it, Ricardo, I think the last time I've been on the show, I keep saying the social intervention.
Yes.
We need, and it's not just talk and handing out money. It needs well-designed social interventions for parents, general society, in the schools. We need to reframe our schooling. It's not just about 5, 6, math and English and you're good. It's about how we relate to each other. And these things are like a 10-year process because you're talking about, Ricardo, a change in culture, a behavior modification. And it's going to, I always say to you, Ricardo, it's going to take billions of dollars and we cannot not afford it.
Yeah.
Because we have to change the society, or else we won't find these things happening.
Nigel? Oh, sorry. We seem to have lost him. I'm talking to director at Hear the Children's Cry, Nigel Cooper, in light of the murder of children in recent times. Hear the Children's Cry wants to see a $1 million bounty placed on the head of all the child killers. Whenever a child is murdered, then he's calling for the state to put up a $1 million bounty. He thinks it will assist in tracking those responsible, and it may encourage community members to share information, to share what they know. Here the Children's Cry also wants to see harsher penalties for those who murder or harm children, and I don't think anybody in society would disagree with that. Nigel, in terms of the social intervention, and you're right, we've talked about this before, and we've both agreed that it's going to take billions of dollars in investment to do that. Are you seeing from the government, from civil society entities, because they will have to play a part, the church, etc., that there's a seriousness about tackling that social issue, the long-term social issue that has to be tackled?
I wish I could say that there's a concerted effort. I think persons maybe are throwing up their hands as to what to do, not knowing what to do. I do think you have pockets of organizations that are willing, and it's being done on a small scale, in certain organizations, certain church communities, but it has to be a much wider scale to make the impact that is needed to change our culture. So yes, there are some pockets of organizations that are doing work, so I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but the scale of what we need it at needs significant, much more engagement and coordination.
Could it also mean that we have to, and I think I've asked Wayne Chen this question before, give up on this present generation? Are they beyond fixing and we have to now target our attention on the younger ones coming up?
I think it's a both strategy. I don't think we give up on this generation, but we definitely need to be in the school system to change the mindset of the young ones, but we still have to do activities with this generation. So it has to be both. It can't be, well, let's just leave, let's give up on them. No, we still need to work on them because they are still parents and they still have influence, but for sure the school system must be radically disrupted and changed to create a more social graduate. Not just about academics.
Yeah.
It's about how we relate to each other, how we, interact with each other.
Nigel, I've been thinking to myself as well. There's a certain, I think, tolerance for this kind of barbarity and brutality, because a lot of times people know who the perpetrators of these horrific crimes are, and they don't cooperate. They don't say anything. Yeah. And I know you're thinking the bounty might help them to come forward.
Yeah.
But certainly there must be something wrong with us socially if we can abide somebody turning a gun and shooting a 3-year-old 3 times. Something must be wrong with us that we can abide that and remain silent.
And so that is part of the whole need for this, socialization in terms of saying, wrong is wrong and we are going to do the right thing. And so we're saying, as I said, the bounty will help to be a disincentive and also encourage. But yes, you're right. It takes a lot of socialization, And so the bounty is an incentive to help. You really shouldn't need, I agree with you,
Yeah,
Ricardo.
right.
You really shouldn't need that incentive.
To do
Yes, I
exactly.
agree.
Humanity should tell you that this is just intolerable.
Agreed, Ricardo. But until we get there, the bounty will help. The bounty will help until we get there.
Yeah. Have you been able to advance these conversations with the government in terms of that proposal, for example, of setting up that kind of fund?
We did write to the Honourable Minister Chang, and we made the original call in October, just before the hurricane, and we did write to him, and we understand that since hurricane and all, we understand the priorities have shifted. We will now look back at reaching out to the Honourable Minister again to raise it.
Yeah. Nigel Cooper, Director of Hear the Children's Cry. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Always a pleasure.
Yeah,
Thank you,
man.
Ricardo.
Have a good one. I think I'd support that. I'd support the bounty, and I would support harsher measures. It is intolerable. I tell you, I can't imagine. I saw the videos of that mother just absolutely wailing and holding the blood-stained briefs and shorts of her child. The shorts I saw, it was so stiff with blood. I cannot imagine just the horror of that moment. Yeah, and if you can turn your gun on a 3-year-old, as I say, all I kept imagining is the size of a 3-year-old. For you to shoot a 3-year-old 3 times, a baby, a toddler, you don't deserve to see the light of day again. I'm sorry. There should be no possibility of parole. If we can't, execute the final sentence, which is the sentence of death, then you don't deserve to see the light of day again. Because what kind of person are you? Why should society have you walking up and down among us? We have to do better to protect our children. And for people who know, the people who know who these people are, the people who live with them, and in some cases celebrate them, how you sleep? How you sleep? Let's take a break, and then after the break, Peter Mandelson, the he's still a former Labour peer, former UK ambassador to the United States, Labour grandee. He was a major player in Tony Blair and Gordon Brown's government. Well, today he was arrested on suspicion of misconduct in public office. It's amazing to me that in the United Kingdom there seems to be so many consequences flowing from this Epstein drama. But in the United States, nary a word. Members of the administration, they want to talk about it. Yeah, that's interesting. After the break.
You may have been hearing the teasers. Now it's official. Beginning Monday, February 9, 2026, Nationwide News Network launches something special. The Nationwide Family Club, exclusively on Patreon.
With the Family Club, members get early access to our documentaries before anyone else. Some of your favorite segments, including Cliff Says, What's on My Mind, Cover Story, and others, will now be a click away inside the Family Club. There are 3 tiers of membership. First, Bronze, the Family Insider, behind-the-scenes access, Monday motivational videos, members-only chats, and on-air birthdays and anniversary shoutouts.
Second, Silver, Nationwide VIP. Breaking news alerts, exclusive documentaries, quizzes, personal milestones celebrated on air, and weekly family roll call mentions. Oh, and for our biggest supporters,
our gold category, elite listener, full archive access, early releases, private studio tours, live show experiences, personalized birthday videos, and exclusive live streams. From historic election coverage to lifetime, impact, Jamaican milestones, and rare archive content. This is nationwide like you've never seen it before. The Nationwide Family Club coming to you February 9, 2026 on Patreon.
Join the family, support Nationwide 90 FM, the station that informs, entertains, and educates. Visit patreon.com/Nationwide News Network. That's patreon.com/Nationwide News Network. Nationwide Family Club, where you are family, because we see you as family.
We are the best at what we do. At Hose Assembly and Supply Limited, we supply hose fittings and tools. We guarantee we can't be beaten when price and quality are combined. You brand us the Hose and Tool Boss because we deliver the most effective industrial solutions. Come in and experience the joy of shopping with Hose Assembly and Supply Limited. Call us 876-923-3936 or visit 173 Hagley Park Road, 2 Charlesworth Crescent or Montego Bay Trade Center. Hose Assembly and Supply Limited. More than just hoses. Now open every Sunday.
I don't think I'm going to get used to that today now. It's time for Around the World. By the way, you know, you like turkey neck? You like, yeah. FIFA's on turkey neck. I'm a TSPC, it tastes nice for sure. Yeah. Big up, Abby. Nice, and it pressure, and it, yeah, my FIFA's on turkey neck. But I can't cook it though. I don't know if I clean it up, you know? Apart them, I don't know if I do. No, it's not because of the gravy. I've actually mastered the gravy now, so the gravy is no longer long. That's not the problem. It's a clean up. It, you know, it have something. I'm not really sure how it cleans up. You know, grandma used to, you know, angle and thing there for me. But more on turkey. Anyway, around the world, the former British ambassador to the United States, Peter Mandelson, was arrested by London police on suspicion of misconduct in public office on Monday. The arrest comes days after the former Prince Andrew was arrested amid the Jeffrey Epstein files probe. Mandelson was fired from the most prestigious posting in Britain's diplomatic service in September, when the depth of his friendship with Epstein started to become clear. Police this month began a criminal investigation into Mandelson after Prime Minister Keir Starmer's government passed on communications between the former ambassador and Epstein. Here's more in this report from the BBC.
Good evening. In the last hour, Peter Mandelson has been arrested on suspicion of misconduct in public office and taken in for questioning by the Metropolitan Police. He was escorted from his home in central London to an undisclosed police station. The former ambassador to the US was sacked in September after information emerged in the Jeffrey Epstein files regarding his ongoing friendship with a convicted paedophile and the alleged leaking of confidential government information while he was business secretary. The BBC understands he denies engaging in any criminal activity and that he was not motivated by financial gain. The details of this story are still emerging, but here's the latest from Daniel Sanford.
Accompanied by 2 police officers who had just arrested him, Lord Mandelson being led to an unmarked car and being taken away to a police station for questioning. Minutes later, the Metropolitan Police confirmed that they had arrested a 72-year-old man on suspicion of misconduct in public office. The investigation of Lord Mandelson began 2.5 weeks ago with searches of his London home in Camden and his second home in Wiltshire. It was triggered by emails in the Epstein files, allegedly showing Lord Mandelson communicating with Jeffrey Epstein himself. In one, Epstein allegedly asks about rumours about a proposed EU bailout during the financial crisis, and Mandelson allegedly replies, "should be announced tonight." He also seems to forward an interesting note that had gone to the Prime Minister. Lord Mandelson had known Epstein since the early 2000s. In one message in a birthday book, he called him his best pal. They remained in contact after Epstein was jailed for prostituting a 14-year-old girl. But despite that, the Prime Minister, Sir Keir Starmer, appointed Lord Mandelson as ambassador to Washington before removing him from that post in September. Lord Mandelson had been seen as somebody who could get close to President Donald Trump and who knew about trade deals from his time as EU Trade Commissioner. Lord Mandelson has not commented publicly in recent weeks on the Epstein files, but the BBC understands his position has consistently been that he's not acted in any way criminally and that he was not motivated by financial gain. He's not been charged with any crime.
Well, Daniel's with me here now, so information's still coming in about this, Daniel, but what more can you tell us about the arrest?
It was just after 4:15 this afternoon that a BBC team who were outside Lord Mandelson's house at the time saw officers arriving there. They looked very clearly to be police officers, but although they were wearing suits, they seemed to have these body-worn cameras on their jackets, which is a strong indication that they might have been police officers. That obviously alerted us to the possibility that something was happening. Not long after that, Lord Mandelson was effectively led from the house into this car and driven off. And it didn't take long after that for the Metropolitan Police to release this confirmation that a 72-year-old man had been arrested at his home in Camden and had been taken away to a police station for questioning. Now, how long that question will be, we simply don't know. I think for a crime like this, what we call a sort of white-collar crime, it's not that likely to be an overnight stay. It's likely to be a few hours, because obviously this is still quite early stages of this investigation. And in fact, there are many parallels between this and the Andrew investigation, in that once that initial questioning has happened, it could then be that there's a lot more work that the detectives need to do before they then come up with any decision about where the investigation goes. The investigation's been run by an organisation within the Met called Central Specialist Crime, and the nub of the allegation against Lord Mandelson is that he allegedly was sharing market-sensitive information with his friend Jeffrey Epstein.
Daniel, thank you. Well, we can speak now to our political editor, Chris Mason. And Chris, we're beginning to get used to falls from grace following the release of the Epstein files, but this is still quite a moment.
It really is, yeah. Just a year ago, Lord Mandelson was a matter of weeks into one of the marquee jobs that can be bequeathed by the British state, His Majesty's ambassador to Washington. There he was amid the glamour and the splendour and the access to power. I was there in the British Embassy in Washington a few weeks into his stint, and he was clearly revelling in yet another high-profile role in British government. And where are we tonight? He is in a police station facing questions. This towering figure of the contemporary Labour Party, who worked for the former leader Lord Kinnock, who was a cabinet minister twice under Tony Blair, who was Gordon Brown's first Secretary of State, tonight finds himself, perhaps right now, across a table with police officers on the other side of that table, asking him questions in a criminal investigation. We should emphasise, as we've already reported, that Lord Mandelson has not commented publicly since the release of the Epstein files. It's my understanding that he does not believe he has acted criminally, and nor did he act for his own financial gain.
That report there from the BBC. And, you know, one of the things that's been talked about in this whole affair is the judgment of Keir Starmer in appointing Mandelson to that diplomatic post in the United States, because he has always had issues. I think about 3 or 2 times before, he has had to leave the cabinet because of some kind of scandal. So the question is, you know, why did the incumbent Prime Minister appoint him to such a sensitive post, knowing that he had, you know, a past like that? Eh? Oh, by the way, YouTubers, I see your comments about the turkey neck. Some are suggesting to me curry turkey neck. Others are suggesting to me that, you know, you can put a turkey neck in the stew peas. I am familiar with it in the stew peas. I've never had it curried. But yeah, when you put it in the stew peas, it nice. Then you have to try that one there. You put it in the, yeah man, you put the turkey neck in nice. Me never had the curry one before, but put this turkey neck in the stew peas with the beef and the chicken foot and the pig steel and those rubs. Yeah, your stew peas have enough meat. Me not like a barefoot stew peas when you just put the pig steel alone in it. Not one type of meat. Nope, nope, nope. You have to put chicken foot, you have to put the beef, you have to put the pig steel, and if you have the turkey neck, as the YouTubers I say, you put it in there and you ropes it. Nice! Especially if you pressure it and you know, they kind of just mash out in it and say, you know, so the base of the stew are just pure meat, and put it on pan game today now. If you can like pressure out some chicken breast in it, top tier. Take my advice. Here. Bugs, tell her no. I'm sure Bugs know about it. Bugs not YouTube? Why? Because of the pig's tail? Yeah, they alright, you have to use a pig's tail. It doesn't have to be alright, fine, cool, alright, fine. Alright. I'll try the curry one day. I've never had the curry one. YouTubers, thank you for your kind comments. I see them. Thank you so much. Smoked turkey neck. No, I've never had that one. Vegetable stew peas. Vegetable stew? Why you stew vegetable? Nah, man. Alright, them say burn out the pig steel, so no pig steel. Oh, Petrina says you can put cow skin in it as well. Yes. Yeah, I've had that. Oh, Mikhail says I must get a Trini girl to make the curry one. Yeah, the Trini curry. Trini curry is good. But yeah, man. Stew peas. Leroy said that's way too much meat in a one pot. Nah, man, it's nice, man. It's nice. Smoked turkey neck. Is that you buy it smoked? Does it come packaged smoked? Because I've never seen the smoked turkey neck. Oh, the vegetable stew peas is Ital stew. Okay. Good news, Sir Ricardo. Are you leaving because of us? Because of the YouTubers? No good news. No. I like stew peas, Grace says, with salt beef, cowhead, pig's tail, and chicken foot. Yeah, man. That sounds nice. David says, could you play the song by Whitney Houston? No, I'm not. I'm not playing that, David. But yeah. Philip Jackson says Ricardo and food. Yeah, man. But yeah, Maga say I can rups some turkey neck. Well, not me, because as I tell you, I can't clean it up. I mean, not very risk that. I mean, this is somebody that earlier said if I can cook the shrimp, then I'm not going to be able to cook the turkey neck. And that's probably true. Okay, so just before we go, some news to share with you. Deacon Mahoney, otherwise called Romy, has turned himself in at the Hunts Bay Police Station. He's now in custody. So Deacon Mahoney, this is one of the men who was wanted for questioning the shooting. Yeah, he was one of the persons of interest in the shooting death of that 3-year-old boy. We're now being told that he has turned himself into the police. And let's hope that the others will do the same. All right, that's going to be it from me for today for Nationwide at 5. Thank you, Dana. Thank you so much. Thank you to Bugs. Thank you to my colleagues in the newsroom, the very best in the business, all our contributors or YouTubers. We appreciate you so much. Mahiri Stewart and Shaloy Smichael are up next with a comment section, and they're asking you for your reaction to the Prime Minister accepting his full salary. My take on it? Long overdue, eh? He has a new mandate, so clearly the Jamaican people expect him to be paid. But Shaloy and Mahiri will tell you what they think. I'm Ricardo Brooks. Thank you so much.
Every day